Welcome back, Pokemon trainers, to another episode of Pokemon Go. And today we are trying to complete Galar Calling. You can see that you have to explore a total of 5 kilometers. So we're going to get walking, and we're also going to hit up some power spots and see what's up down there. So we're going to go hit up those areas. But as you guys know, it's time for your favorite thing. Just kidding. I know. Look, guys, we're doing something new. Okay, we're on a 7-day health journey. 7 days. Today is day 5. That's only 2 days left, you guys, of my adventure incense soapbox. But guess what? It's time to do it. All right, so let's do it. Look, I'm having fun. If you guys are not having fun, I hope that you're at least getting in the mindset that things can change. Okay, clearly, if you're watching me, you've seen me change a lot of things. I used to change my hair color all the time. How many of you guys remember when I used to have pink hair? I used to have purple hair. I used to have blue hair. I used to have teal hair. I used to have green hair. I used to be blonde. This is my natural hair color. It's nice to be natural for a while. But guys, change is just something that constantly happens. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's a quote that's like, change is the only constant that is. So it's important to embrace change and adapt, and also learn new things. You know, have you ever heard that saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks? That's not true. You actually can teach an old dog new tricks. I myself, back when I lived in Alaska, you guys, I got a husky, and it was a full-grown dog. I think that dog was about 4 years old, and I taught that dog a lot of stuff. I taught it how to, sit and stay. And she was super smart. Obviously, huskies are one of the smartest dog breeds out there. But guess who's smarter than any dog breed? You. You are. You're a human. You're fully capable of learning all kinds of new things, okay? So never think that it's too late to learn something new. In fact, you should be trying to learn something new every single day. So that brings me to today's topic, you guys, as we get into the Pokemon Go here. It's actually all about, one thing is mindsets, okay? Mindsets and also perception. Perception is reality. Again, I'm not telling you guys anything that you haven't already heard of. I'm just spitting facts at you. I'm just spitting truths at you in hopes that it gets your perception to shift. Like if you've always been looking at your perception this way, I want you to look at your perception this way and go, oh, it's like that? Yeah, it can be. If you've always, right? Let's do a couple shiny checks right here. I see some Squovits. If you've always been looking at your life one way, you might be missing the full picture, is what I'm trying to tell you guys. For example, let's take, okay, I'm gonna go there. Let's take flat earthers, for example, right? They think that the earth is flat. They might really, really believe that. And they might oppose other viewpoints or other perspectives that might get them to see what they think is true in another way. They think that the earth is flat, right? They just think all they see is that surface. That's the flat earthers, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. I am not one of those, by the way. I think that viewpoint is ridiculous. But to somebody who that's their belief, they really, really firmly believe that. And then guess what? So let's say that you're a flat earther, and then I showed you the earth, right? I took you out into space and I showed you the earth. And then I showed you from another perspective that, oh my gosh, it's a 3-dimensional object. It's actually not flat. It was only one 2-dimensional plane of this 3-dimensional object that's actually out there in space in 3D. Your brain would explode, right? It'd be like, wait, you're telling me that all the beliefs that I held dearly and that I rallied and I told people they were wrong and I got angry about and yada yada were wrong the whole time? Yeah, and that's okay. You know what? It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to make mistakes because we are human, you guys. We are human, and we're going to make mistakes, and we're going to keep making mistakes as we learn and grow. That's just part of being a human. There is no perfect human. There is no human that's got it all figured out. I'm not perfect, and I don't have it all figured out. But something that we can do once we realize that we're wrong and that we are learning something new is accept it and adapt to it. Again, I bring up adaptation, right? Once you are given enough facts or enough perspective that you start to question if what you thought was true could possibly be wrong, I applaud you. Okay, it's hard. It's hard to admit that you're wrong, especially when you have been letting your ego drive the bus for probably your entire life leading up to that moment. So what happens when you are at that moment where somebody has finally presented you with a different viewpoint and enough facts, or just simply a different way of looking at something, that now your world will never be the same, right? Like, okay, let's honestly, flat earthers are like the perfect example to use. So I'm sorry if anybody's a flat earther, but you're just a perfect example to use. Let's say that you thought that the world was just a 2D plane, right? You didn't think it was 3D, you didn't think it was round. Well, once I showed you, right, that it is a 3D object and there's much more than just a 2D flat plane, now you have to adapt. You have to learn, you have to grow, and you have to expand your knowledge. And it also requires you to not go into denial. You could, that's an option. You could go into denial. Oop, collection's full. Let me delete something real quick. Sorry about that. I didn't clean out all my ponytas that I caught from Ponyta Community Day. So, like I said, denial is something that people do. And all of us know somebody who's living in denial right now. An example of that would be like, oh yeah, that person loves me, and you know that deep down they don't, right? Or for example, another example would be like, you know, oh, here's a great one. Have you guys ever heard of the sunken cost fallacy? The sunken cost fallacy is the fallacy in thinking, okay, that involves investments. So for example, let's take stocks. Stocks is a great example. Stocks, okay, let's say that you invested in a stock and you put $1,000 in, right? And then you realize that that stock is not going to pay out. It was not a good investment, and in fact, you know that the person who told you to invest in it was actually corrupt, and they pulled out their money for that stock as soon as you put yours in, and you saw them do it. You're like, wait, why did you just pull out your stock? And they're like, hey, I gotcha. It's a bad stock. It was all a joke on you. Now, you could either, at that point, just say cut and run, right? And go, wow, okay, so clearly the writing is on the wall. They gave me another perspective. Now I know that this thing is broken. This is corrupt. I have a flaw in my thinking. There's a fallacy in my thinking. I didn't know all of the information, and I made a bad investment. At this point, you can withdraw your stock and get what little money you can, or you can keep investing in it, or you could hold on and not do anything, okay? This is also where perception, your perception is reality comes in, because the human mind is so powerful, you guys, that you can actually make yourself believe something that isn't true. So like in this stocks example, despite the person who told you to invest telling you, haha, gotcha, took your money, sucks for you, you could then tell yourself, no, it's not true. It's not true. It's still a good stock. Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. No, you know that meme where the dog is sitting in the middle of the fire while he's having a cup of coffee and he's like, this is fine. That is denial, okay? You don't want to be that dog sitting in the fire. You want to get out of the burning fire and save yourself, okay? So the sunken cost fallacy says, the fallacy in the thinking is that once you invest in something, there's a point where, and it's different for everybody, so everybody's going to approach this differently on how they go about what to do when you get to a crossroads like that. So people in denial, let me just tell you right now, that's not the way to go, okay? You want to accept and embrace and adapt to change. We're humans, guys. It's okay. We make mistakes all the time, and it's part of our nature to adapt and grow and learn to change. It's just expected. We're constantly changing. We're constantly evolving. It's okay to make mistakes. You just got to at least admit it and get yourself out of there so you can actually change. Because if you don't change, then what are you doing? You're staying stuck. You're staying stagnant. You're not growing, and you're not adapting. Those are the ones that get lost in the sauce in the path of evolution. See, like, think about it. Everything that has evolved up to this point today in 2024 has successfully adapted, grown, and changed. And, you know, made the necessary changes that the environment is asking of them in order to be a successful creature on this planet. I know, it's tough out here. It's hard, but guess what? You can thank all your bloodline, your ancestors, and all the people who created your genetics to get you up to where you are, because they helped you get here. It's a process where we all pass down this line of genes that actually works because we did the adaptation the way that the nature approved of. So let's go back to the stocks example. What happens if you fail to adapt? What happens if you stay in denial? Well, quite honestly, if you're the person who doesn't do anything, then you kind of just like lost that little bit of money, but you definitely didn't get any of your money back, that's for sure. The other one who's really, really in denial to the point where their perception is reality that no, it's still a good stock, it's still a good stock, it's still a good stock. And your perception, which is reality for you, is that it's still good. They might just keep investing in it, right? They might just be like, you know what? It's so good, actually. It's so good. I'm just going to put another 1,000 in, and another 1,000 in, and another 1,000 in, and it's going to pay out. It's going to pay out. It's going to work out. But if they were actually living in the real reality, they would have listened to the intel that the person told them, hey, guess what? Gotcha. But they didn't listen to that, okay? So meanwhile, they're losing all their money, okay? But the mind is so powerful, guys, that even if you're losing all your money and you're still investing in something that isn't true or isn't working out or isn't favorable for you in any way whatsoever, the mind is so powerful that you can actually live in a delusional state. I like how some people call it delulu. You're delulu! Delusional, because your mind is not matching reality. And that's when you need a reality check. I'm dropping all these terms on you guys. I hope you Google all these after the video's over. Delusional states lead to a reality check because nature likes balance, okay? Earth likes balance, nature likes balance, and it's going to constantly keep you in check because you are, just like everybody else here, constantly asked to adapt, grow, and make changes. So Earth and Mother Nature is going to be like, hey, you still gonna put that stock? Hey, you gonna put that money in today? Hey, you gonna pull out today? Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Nature's gonna constantly check you, and it's gonna give you warning signs and red flags on the way, trying to give you the heads up. Yeah, you should really pull out your money on that. You should really pull out your money on that. You really should do that. And so what happens when you don't listen to the red flags? What happens when you don't listen to your gut? What happens when you don't listen to everything, all the signs and synchronicities, Mother Nature, your friends, your family, and definitely the people who are against you, even your enemies, at some point have told you, hey, I gotcha. Even they tell you in their own weird way, okay? There's signs and synchronicities everywhere, guys. Good, bad, ugly, up, down, left, right. There are things that are trying to tell you, hey, like, you know that the fairy from Legend of Zelda, Link's little guidance fairy Navi says like, hey, listen, hey, watch out. Navi is always trying to protect you guys. It's your intuition that's trying to look out for you and your best interests. And so basically in the stocks example, that person's going to lose all their money. All right. Now in the neutral example of just being like, everything's fine, then they're just going to lose that specific investment, but they won't lose any more. But they could have gained it because the correct adaptation is to understand that it's time to pull out your money, okay? That's the sunken cost fallacy. The fallacy in thinking is that you're just too far gone that you can't pull out, when in reality, you could always save your time, money, and energy just by pulling out as soon as you realize, oh my gosh, I've made a huge mistake. I've made a terrible mistake. I need to make changes and I need to adapt and get better right now. And so as my adventure incense wraps up, how does that relate to the flat earthers? Well, it's the same thing. And again, I'm just using stocks or flat earthers or whatever, guys, as just a simple example to illustrate my point that what the world is asking of you is to be the creator of your own reality. The world is asking you, the universe is asking you, hey, are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Because every turn, every decision you make, every obstacle you try to go over, every bump in the road, every roadblock is the universe's way of checking you and being like, hey, you sure about that? You sure about that? Because at some point in the way, the universe gave you enough red flag signs, synchronicities, and information to shift your perspective enough that it trusts that you should know better by now. And so if you make a conscious decision to just keep doing wrong over and over and over again, all you're doing is getting yourself deeper and deeper and deeper stuck into your own mistakes that only you have to blame yourself for. You missed all the red flags. You missed all the road obstacles. You missed all the road closure signs. You missed all your friends telling you. You missed all your family telling you. You missed your ex breaking up with you. You missed, you losing all your money. And then at the end of the day, you're asking God, why God? Why did this happen? You missed every single roadblock in the way. Which is why I keep saying perception is reality. Because if you perceive that there are absolutely nothing wrong, everything is 100% fine, there's no red flags, there's nothing in the way, everything is going exactly your way, even when you know that it is not. That is when you enter in a delusional state, and now the delusional state is your reality, because that's how powerful your mind is. You can actually live in an incorrect delusional state. Don't let that be you. Okay, that's essentially what I'm trying to tell you. So this is your call to check yourself before you wreck yourself, thank you Ice Cube, that you are not delusional. Make sure that you catch yourself. What are you investing in? What are your beliefs? What are your morals and values? What has been drilled into you since you were a child? What has been drilled into you by your parents, your society, community? Do you really believe it? Or are you just going down with the Kool-Aid? Are you drinking the Kool-Aid? Are you just doing what everybody tells you to do? It is time to wake up, take your control back, master your own reality, and basically create the world that you want to live in, because the only person that can build the world that you want to live in is you. So that being said, guys, that's enough for this rant today. It was a deep one. I hope that you guys are following me on it. We're going over some tough concepts, all right? It's a little... These concepts are not elementary Barney level, but I'm trying my best. All right? So smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.